Alright, well, it was a bit of a short turnaround here, but we've had some couple of toilet breaks and some breaks for some drivers and stuff like that. But we are now back, and after the bit of shambles in the TS3 racing, we've now got the Trackstars TS2 touring cars. So welcome back to everyone. My co-commentator in N-Spud has just currently gone to a code 10, so we'll get him back, and I need to get Northy to get his wing fixed. In the process of that, welcome to round one of the TS2 touring cars, brought to you live from the very scenic Seaside, Dragon Trail Seaside circuit all the way in Croatia. It's a very sunny day, very hot, very sunny, very dry, so it's kind of perfect weather if you wanted to jump in the beach off the back straight, or jump in a pool or something like that. But for these guys, I don't really think that the tyres will like this hot weather. So tyres would like to be a bit of a cold track, stuff like that. And we'll go from there. But just give me 1 second while we get this all sorted. Hang on 1 second. Alright, so now I'm back, so we had a bit of a technical issue there, and unfortunately, we had GT12 Swifty use the wrong wing for these GT cars, GT2 GR2 cars. So unfortunately, that's against regulation. So he will be demoted down to Split 2, which then promotes Vossi into Split 1. So unfortunately, he did not follow regulations. It is in there. Rules and regulations have been set out for this week, so everyone had enough time to read them. And unfortunately, it wasn't spotted in pre-qualifying by either myself or Spud, so it's a bit unfortunate. It is a bit unfortunate there on our behalf, but drivers do know what the rulings are, and if they do break the rules, we are obviously series admin and series managers, so we will take immediate action for that one. So it's a bit unfortunate there for Swifty, but that's just how we go. So it's a bit unfortunate there, isn't it, Spud?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit unfortunate because he set himself a really good time. He's actually the fastest driver in the pre-qualifying. So unfortunately for him, he's shot himself in the foot there, having the wrong wing for him. So very unfortunate for him to be like that. And yeah, obviously it is what it is. Rules are rules. If you don't follow them, you pay the consequences. And unfortunate for Swifty North and the Robo Sport Camp, he has been demoted to Split 2 racing. But as we get the main split qualifying underway, I'm just going to jump off to the side and just organise my Split 2 racing. I do apologise.
You are all good, mate. And in the process of that one, we have main Split 1 lobby has gone green for qualifying for 8 minutes. So they're going to try and put in their best laps for the next 8 minutes. We do have some very fast drivers here. So through from, what do I remember it being? I can't remember, but we did have 5 drivers automatically entries into this main lobby, which was Lunacy, Rugworth, Nightwalker, Robbo, and Calypso. So big ups to those 5 guys. Everyone else you had seen here come through from pre-qualifying, and the fastest pre-qualifier was TTV Bite the Roses, which is very surprising there. He's in the Lexus. He did a 1 minute 27.138. So that was a very, very fast time there. And then obviously we had Swifty Northie behind him with a 127.2, which unfortunately that time gets null and void due to the larger wing, which is the breaking rules. So that's rules are rules. Follow the rules and you'll get rewarded, but you don't follow the rules and you get burned. A bit unfortunate there, but hopefully he's kind of learned from that one. We have to go with the flow, and then we will carry on. So at the moment, these guys have just completed their lap, and they're all going out now with their flying laps. At the same time, we also have a full Split 2 as well, so that's very, very good for round 1. We're going to need some more hosts if we get some more drivers in.
Yeah, exactly right. I can't wait to see if we even get a Split 3 going. I mean, that'll be awesome. I mean, I think touring cars has shot up a bit of interest compared to the Formula Series, and I think that's where we see the larger community of Track Stars Racing Series come in and jump in for the racing, because they just know that the lobbies get bigger, and and the lobbies are kind of full in that stage. So obviously there's a huge interest in the touring cars compared to formulas, and it's great to see that our community are getting involved in our series.
Yeah, obviously I do thoroughly enjoy touring cars a lot more than formulas, but that's just me personally. But we do have some car swaps with some drivers, so also a team swap as well, as Roses comes through with a 28.4, so a little bit off his pre-qualifying time, so we'll wait and see what he can do here. But as well, we do have the weather aspect in here, so I wonder if this wind will affect it. But we have Roses had a late switch teams. He's gone from ISR Racing, he's gone to WTCC, so that's a massive signing there for Slapper's made in those guys over there at WTCC, and he's also gone from the Nissan to the Lexus, so that's also a big change. And we have Zylan here in second at the moment for the Outback Mash Buds Racing. So he was a very strong performer last year. Unfortunately, had to pull out mid-season due to some personal things. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see him race a full season. But hopefully, he's all refreshed and ready to go for this season. Obviously, I expect you thinking pretty highly of Zylan and expecting some pretty good performances from him here.
Absolutely. I mean, he was almost runner-up in the TS2 Championship, fighting Little Blacko right towards the end, until he had to call it quits just due to some personal issues and just some real-world issues that was going on in his life. But yeah, unfortunately for him, he couldn't take the fight to Little Blacko, and Blacko ran away with the championship victory. It would have been a great finale to see what those guys could have done leading up to the final rounds at St. Croix C. But now he's back, rejuvenated, fresher than ever, and we cannot wait to see what he can do in season 2022 with some big names coming through in the 2022 series in the season. So it's great to see Zylan come back into the mix and have a good crack.
Yeah, it's good, and as we say that, he just goes to the top with a 28 flat, so it's good there. We've got 3.5 minutes to go, so I wonder if we're going to see a couple of shuffles here. And as I say that, we've got Lunacy that jumps to the top, so at the moment it's a Lexus 1, 2, 3, and then a Nissan 4, Honda 5, Nissan 6, Honda 7, so a real mixed grid at the moment here, so I wonder if this BOP is actually working at the moment. As we are using the in-game balance of performance and no tuning, so they're essentially same thing as the TS3 guys. Realistically, it's just a kind of a bit of an arrive and drive kind of thing. Only real difference is they're using the 2016 cars, so they got the turbos, a little bit more downforce, a little bit faster down the straights, that kind of stuff. So might take a bit to get their grips around, but they also have light damage here, and in this latest update they've also broken the damage model, so light scrub against the wall. If anything, you can barely touch it, you're going to be getting a bit of damage there, so fingers crossed these guys don't get any damage. Did you mute yourself again, mate?
No, sorry, I'm just trying to get all these the split 2 underway. We're just missing a couple of drivers from our split 2. We had to do a reset of the lobby. A couple of drivers couldn't get in to the lobby, and then now I think once we get everyone unticked, then we can get ourselves ticked back in, and then we can finally start the qualifying for split 2 TS2 racing. So I'm not so sure how the progression is going for you guys, but what I can see, I've now turned over to the stream. We've got Roses on pole, Lunacy in second, Zylan in third. Like you said, it's a Lexus 1 to 3. So good showing by the Lexus boys, Lexus drivers. So as a proud Lexus driver as myself, so I'm happy to see that as well.
Yeah, and obviously myself coming from the Lexus going now to the Honda, it's a massive change for me, being different engine configuration, different like that, like just everything about the car is just completely different to the Lexus, so it's definitely something that I think some of these drivers may bring into tuition here. But all of these guys at the moment, I think the only sole driver is Azuzu Brian, because everyone else is part of a team. I think Mikhail possibly as well, but other than that, we've got everyone else part of a main series drive, so that's also very good to see with these guys.
Absolutely, and we've got a few former main drivers that were actually in the series last year in the Trackstars Touring Cars Championship. Obviously, we have the likes of It's Racing up into 5th place, and then we had Lurox 22 coming over from the main series down into TS2, not showing his pace down in 15th, so he's got a little bit more pace to find, Lurox, in the RoboSport Racing entry than number 22. And yeah, we've had a few other drivers as well there. I believe Zylan's done a main series, and Bite the Roses has done a main series as well, Robbo as well. So there are a few main series drivers that we've had over the in last year's Touring Cars Championship, and they're all coming into TS2, the balance of performance of the VIP when no tuning just maybe gives these guys a little bit more freedom. Obviously not having to set a car up, and that way for them they can just jump in, have some fun, and yeah, basically go from there and just see how if they can get the fastest lap time beating their mates or teammates.
Yeah, exactly. And it's obviously good to see some of these drivers might kind of bounce off their main drivers to see what they can kind of perform and stuff like that, and how they'll be. Obviously comparing the two different cars. Obviously the aero package is a little bit different, but it's kind of wait and see how it goes, I guess. We've had Roses here with a 27.2. Brian on the front row. Look at that, mate.
Oh wow!
About that.
That's a bit of a shock there, Brian. It's obviously he was supposed to be racing in TS3, but luckily for us in series admin, we managed to catch him out and say to him, "No, you've got an A ranking. You're not allowed to join that lobby." And I guess his A ranking is putting him on the front row for the first round of the TS2 Touring Cars Championship, DJ. So that's a great performance by Brian. But look at this, we've got a Lexus pole, we've got a Nissan second and a Honda third, so this is a great mix of cars for the front three. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, I think maybe they're kind of a bit they're pretty even here. I mean, Roses has put in a very, very, very fast lap there with a 27.2. He's actually half a tenth from Brian, so other than that, the field is very close. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's .048 from second to third, .023 from third to fourth, .032 to fourth to fifth, .106 from 5 to 6, and then .2 from 6 to 7. So from essentially second to 6th is all separated by essentially a tenth and a half, if that.
Oh wow, literally, so that is that close.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That is pretty amazing, and it's great to see some very, very competitive field there. So you've got Captain Muffin in third, and yeah, you can see something about .03, did you say, ahead of Lunacy?
.02.
.02.
But he's .04 behind Brian, so it's a very, very, very close second all the way down through to 6. Obviously,
wow.
It's a tenth off Cylon, but from 2, 3, 4, and 5, there's realistically a tenth in it. So .4, then a .6, and .9. So less than a tenth between second and fourth.
Yeah, that's really close. And then obviously Lunacy, the Formula 2 champion, is starting ahead of his rival in Cylon in 5th place. But as we get ourselves underway, hopefully we can get our lobby underway. There are no mandatory pit stops for our drivers this evening, so it's a straight out, flat out race for 12 laps, just like TS3 did for 10 laps. These guys go an extra 2 for 2 laps of racing, and we can't wait to see what these guys can do. Hopefully a little bit of a cleaner start compared to the TS3, and fingers crossed we might be able to have some awesome action here on Trackstars Racing Series YouTube. So if you haven't followed us already, do hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification to catch up on all of the action that we have. TS3 Touring Cars, TS2 Touring Cars, and the main series Touring Cars Championship, brought to you live here and free on YouTube. But as we get ourselves about to get away very shortly, our Split 2 have just come through with about 5 minutes to go until their qualifying ends. And so far on pole position, we have Warpath 360 over Griffo and D-Flow in the top 3. But as we get ourselves ready for the main split, the Trackstars TS2 Touring Cars Championship for round 1 here at Dragon Trail Seaside, it is Bite the Roses ahead of Brian and ahead of Muffin, the Lexus, Nissan and Honda, as we get ready for those 5 lights to go out. Will Roses get the jump? It is lights out, green flag racing, and it looks like he's got himself a really good start. Bit of a slower start, but it looks like he's that initial second phase of his car. He managed to pull through nicely and gets himself a really good comfortable margin over Muffin, and he goes a little bit sideways as the whole field comes through the pack. Lunacy goes up into 3rd, Silence still stays in 5th, Muffin drops down to 4th place, but it looks like it's a bit of a cleaner start, DJ, compared to what we saw in TS3. Everyone's negotiated that first sequence of corners very nicely.
Yeah, that was a much cleaner start through there, and no cars picked up damage either. So very nice there from all these drivers, being very clean through that first section of corners there. But yeah, it's a mix of cars here. We've currently got a Honda 567.
Oh, someone's gone
Robbo!
up to Robbo Sport. It is Robbo, but he saved it. How on earth did Robbo Sport save that massive moment that he had there? So very close for Robbo. He nearly went full 360, and he's just tapped Vossi on the back end there.
Oh.
And Vossi's gone around 360, and that's not going to be, well, that's not exactly what Vossi wanted. Runner-up in the TS3 Touring Car Championship last year. That's not how he wanted to start his debut outing in TS2 with contact from Robbo Sport. But we're back up at the front now. We've got Roses leading the way ahead of Brian in second, Lunacy in third. Silence moved himself up into fourth, and then he's got the two Hondas in Captain Muffin and It's Racing in fifth and sixth place. Aussie Hypnotic in seventh, Nightwalker in eighth, Slappers Mate in ninth, and then AMS Mikhail in 10th place.
Yeah, I did notice that Xylon picked up a bit of damage there. It's just washed off now. And did Xylon come together there with It's Racing? That's the question. That's a bit of engine damage there for Xylon. That's very unfortunate. It looks like he's a bit stuck in the wall there too, so he's just had a bit of a reset. Very unfortunate there, first round out. So that'll definitely be one to be looked at later on if the report does get submitted. But at the moment, it's currently a Lexus 1, Nissan 2, Lexus 3, Honda 4. So we've got a bit of range of cars here, but I wonder if Captain Muffin's going to be on a bit of a charge here to try and get to the back of Lunacy and see if we can try and get that podium. So we've got Lunacy in a very black FP Project 1 car. That's very black.
Exactly, bit of red, bit of blue. Obviously, he's got that Pepsi Max sponsoring on the top of the bottom, on the top of the roof there, so that's a nice flow with the car. But yes, good to see the F2 champion jumping in for the TS2 Touring Cars Championship, and he's holding on very nicely into third place. Obviously, a reserve driver for Satellite Racing, and we might be able to see him later on in the future for TS2, for the main series racing coming up in over an hour's time. But we'll have to wait and see how we go. So far, still leading the pack. It is Roses ahead of Brian and ahead of Lunacy. So great start by all of our drivers this evening. So a few hits and misses with some of the drivers, bit of contact, but I guess it is what it is. It's round one. Obviously, some people might not be having their best starts, especially with my boys down there in Xylon and Vossi didn't have the greatest start to their race one. So obviously, it's time to regroup and maybe think about race 2 coming up at the end of this race.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one to look there. And as you see, Nate here, stop changing the camera. Mate, it's not keyboard compatible, so otherwise I'd be flicking from 1 to 10, but I can't do that. So if I go from car to car, I've got to go up and down with the controller. So it's a bit unfortunate at the moment, but we just kind of got to go with it. So it's obviously, we do apologise for that, but GT7 isn't very stream compatible at the moment, so it's a bit much, but we just got to go with the flow at the moment.
Absolutely, unfortunately. Oh, Lunacy's gone into the barriers and he's taken the first hit on the depth chicane there, and that drops him all the way down, and he's got engine damage as well, so that will bring It's Racing up to the back of Lunacy very shortly. Yes, yeah, there he comes, coming into the final corner there, and oh, that was a huge moment for Lunacy. I don't know how he didn't go for a full 360 there, DJ. He saved it, but that's unfortunately hampered his progression. He's going to have that light damage going on for a very long time. So unlucky for Lunacy there.
Yeah, that's still there. All the engine stuff's just washed off, and he's gone all the way from 3rd to 8th.
Wow.
That's a bit unfortunate there, but I guess that's the damage model. So it's obviously very sensitive at the moment, but we just kind of got to go with the flow. But in saying that, that will also, for me, I would say it would be make drivers kind of be a little bit more careful in not trying to send it. As I say, they send it so much, so it's a bit unfortunate there. Oh, just as I catch Lou Rock's being a bit of Tokyo drifting.
Oh, he saved that car. That's very good. That was a very good power slide there through Lou Rock's 22. I wonder if he's got the hydraulic brake installed on his car to do that. But with the snow foam, Australia backing there for Robo Sport Racing. He's holding on into 12th. Zylan's right behind him in the Ultipack Mash Buds Racing, and looks like, yeah, those guys are hanging around the back there. So not a great start for what is known as a very intense rivalry between Mash Buds Racing and Robo Sports, hanging down the back order of the field. So not where we want to see those two boys, but fingers crossed in race 2 they might be able to get themselves in a better position up towards the back. But still, lap 5 of 12, right, bite the roses for WTCC. Still mammothing away, extending that gap ahead of Isuzu Brian. Captain Muffin holding on into 3rd place for the CP Motorsports Elite Breaker Mechanical sponsored Honda NSX, with It's Racing in 4th, Aussie Hypnotic in 5th, Nightwalker in 6th, Slappers now in 6th. Nightwalker's starting to make a move, and there's a bit of a battle there, a bit of contact made between Nightwalker and Slappers, and Lunacy picks up the pieces. He might go from 8th to 6th. No, he doesn't, so he'll hang around in 7th place. But a bit of contact there between Slappers and Nightwalker, but surprisingly no damage.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the damage model is a bit less sensitive when you hit kind of another car, but that's definitely going to be very interesting for that one. But yeah, that was very close call there. That Slappers didn't end up in the sand so much. We've got Captain Muffin closing in here on Brian, so he's got that down to less than just under 8 tenths. But for me, I think in the BOP specs at the moment, the Honda isn't as strong at the top end as what the Nissan will be. Currently showing like that, but I guess that's the joys of balance of performance with 2 different engine layout cars and different aero packages and all that kind of stuff. So we keep going. We are obviously trying to keep it as realistic to the racing in real life, but we can only do so much. So we will see these cars out in the main series, but we will have a bigger aero package with the bigger wing. So that's kind of really the only main difference with these things. Also, we have a high RPM turbo and tuning on. And full power, so we'll be doing probably still in the 120s, but it'll be more or less a low about 122, so roughly about 5 seconds a lap faster in main series cars. As I say that, Brian goes purple through sector 1, so I wonder if you might put on a little bit of a late charge here to Roses, but he still looks like he's gapping the field. That's incredible.
Absolutely, yeah, he's definitely pulling on the margins over Brian, and obviously for Brian was a driver that was, as we said, he was initially racing in TS3, but now he, unfortunately with his rating puts him up and promotes him up into Split 2 into TS2 Racing, and he's hanging around in 2nd place. So great showing by.
Whoa! Roses hit the wall.
Oh no! As we saw that, and it looks like Roses has engine damage, and Roses goes all the way from 1st down to 3rd place. Will It's Racing be able to catch him on the end of the straight? Looks like he's closing, and yeah, he looks like he might drop himself down to as low as 4th place, DJ.
Yeah, that's incredible there. I'm not too sure if that was done on the exit or on the entry to that second part of the chicane there, but as we say that, It's Racing is about to go past Roses here for 3rd place, so that engine's washed off now, so we'll see if It's Racing can keep this. Yes, he does. Nice move there by the series owner. Oh, that's really sketchy there in the Honda, but that's we also suffered in a bit of practice there. The Honda is really sketchy on the low speed with the torque, so I wonder if it's the same for the TS2 guys.
So we got lap 7 of 12. Isuzu Brian in the privateer car in 1st place with Captain Muffin for CP Motorsports in 2nd. It's Racing making his return from the US of A in 3rd place, with Roses from 1st to 4th after that massive engine damage that he had on the dash chicane. Lunacy up into 5th, and then Nightwalk, Slappers and Rugworth in the top 8. So man, this race just keeps kicking on, DJ. I mean, we don't even know who's going to win it. We thought Roses was going to win this race, but he's all the way down to 4th place, so anything can happen.
Yeah, that's incredible that something can change so quickly. But we've also got Devlin, who's currently running under DRE Calypso. That's Devlin Calypso. He's running in 10th, but not many people know this, but Devlin is actually half paralysed. if I remember correctly. So he's only, I think it's his right side works, if I do remember correctly.
Yes, I think he is
It's,
left side paralyzed. I think his left side is
yeah,
paralyzed.
so
And he's got a very unique way of actually driving the car. So he's got a very unique style, like of able to steer the car, and obviously he's got a. I think he's got himself a proper, like a good simulator to actually help him out. So it's a very courageous of Calypso. He did do a full series, half a season in the Formula Track Stars, and he did himself a very good job to be just in 11th place in the standings there. So very good courageous drive by Calypso, but hanging around in 11th place in TS2 is still not a bad start for him, and obviously he's got lots to learn when it comes to TS2 racing. But finally, I can say, DJ, we've got our split 2 underway. We've had Swifty North, John, and Curry on the front 3 rows, but unfortunately, with all these errors that we keep getting in our TS2 and with the lobbies on GT7, it's just become really impossible just to try and get racing underway. Like, it's really hard to get the racing with all these lobby settings. It's not a complete game, you could say.
yeah, we have had a lot of issues since the launch of this, whether it be obviously lobby connections, car issues, people's individual connections, game crashing, lobbies not working. It's just been a massive pre-season for these things, but we ended up kind of sticking to our guns and working through it, and we've had a lot of the members help us out with this kind of stuff, allowing us to add involving them in testing and lobby connections and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a close knit community, and it also makes our life easier as admin when it comes to all that kind of stuff.
And so far on the end of lap 1, you won't believe you can have a guess of who's leading lap 1 of Split 2 racing. John 27 TCT leads the way in Split 2 with GC12 Curry in second. Mad Dog has moved up into third, D-Flow in fourth, and Swifty North drops down to fifth after starting on pole position, so not the start he wanted. But back to the main coverage. There's still a great battle going on here between Brian and Captain, so these guys are not really pulling away from each other. Oh, as Brian has a bit of a mistake there, and that's going to open up the chance for Captain Muffin to go on the inside. Will he be able to make that move? Will Brian defend? No, he won't defend. Captain Muffin goes onto the inside. He'll park the car on the apex, and he's done so nicely. Captain Muffin for CP Motorsports will take the lead in the TS2 Touring Cars Championship for round 1 at Dragon Trail, but Isuzu Brian's got that slipstream, he's got the power, he's got the weight advantage as well, DJ, and we got Brian going on the outside. Will he be able to outbrake the Honda in the CP Motorsport? As you know, he doesn't. That Honda is very strong on its brakes there, and Captain Muffin keeps that first place, but great racing amongst those two drivers.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, and obviously that was also another issue in pre-season, was the balance of performance. So the Honda's actually at a bit of a disadvantage in regards to the weight. So it's carrying a bit more weight, but the in-game BOP sorts out the Nissan and the Lexus. But we also had that in main series too. So it took us probably, I'd say, about 3 weeks to get that balance of performance correct. But we think we've got it pretty well unpat now. So we'll wait and see how the season kicks off. But at the moment, it's looking like the Lexuses have kind of dropped off a little bit here.
Well, it looks like he's not able to close up to It's Racing there. So it looks like It's Racing obviously is finding a bit more of a groove in that Honda NSX there compared to Roses after he had that massive contact in the dash chicane right at this moment. So I guess that's the consequence. Like, obviously you hit the chicane, and yeah, it kind of drops you back throughout the field, because you might think you've got the pace amongst your competitors, but when you drop down the field and you can't catch up because you might be a little bit more hesitant in taking that chicane a little bit differently compared to how you got contact. And same with Lunacy as well. Like, he's not even able to keep up with It's Racing, but he's closing in on Roses as well.
Yeah, I think the game's got the balance of performance pretty well spot on there. Obviously, you're going to have one car is going to excel in one spot and be a bit weaker, and then another car is going to be stronger in the spot where the other car is weak. So I guess it's good in that regard. So hopefully some of these drivers can find the ups and downs of each car and see where they can bring out their positives and negatives and stuff like that and use it to their advantage. But going back down the field here, it looks like Rugworth's dropped a position to Aussie. Calypso's here down in 10th. But on that note of Calypso, I do believe he's got a custom Logitech steering wheel. I think he's been in contact with Logitech over in Europe, and he's got his own custom made one, so he can apply all that to his obviously one side. But on that note as well, he, compared to last year in the touring cars, he's actually got a lot faster. So I think he's done a lot of work in his off season to definitely get his head around on how to drive and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely good to see some drivers like this who might have been, say, a little bit slower, stuff like that. They kind of really put in the hard yards, practice and see where they're going wrong, and work with some other drivers that are a little bit faster, and see where they can kind of get a little bit faster. But obviously it does work, because obviously myself, I had Viper's Ed last year in the Enduros, and he told me where I could kind of get faster and where I'd gain time and where our time differences were. I don't know if it was obviously you the same with Jono, but it definitely helped me in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any tips or any advice you can get from some top drivers, then yeah, absolutely, it's always an added bonus. But as we get to the final lap here, Roses has caught up to It's Racing massively there, so I wonder if he'll be looking for a last lap move between the It's Racing esports driver and the WTCC Lexus drivers as well in Roses. But apparently, by looking at the front there, it looks like Muffin has got himself a very good margin over Isuzu Brian, so he's just holding on. Xylem looks like he's dropped, his days has gone from bad to worse there for Xylem 96, unfortunately for him. And it just hasn't helped out his cause for racing. Oh, as he gets a little bit on the wrong side of things of Captain Muffin completing his final lap there, and Isuzu Brian's going to try and make a move around the outside. But for the final time, for the final corner, it is Captain Muffin 88 that's going to cross the line for race 1 and take victory here in the TS2 Touring Cars Championship. So big congratulations to the CP Motorsports driver and the Honda driver in Captain Muffin in first place. Isuzu Brian in second place, but Rose is going to catch up to It's Racing. No, will It's Racing hold on? He holds on into third. Rose is in fourth. Lunacy drops down to fifth. And nice work there by Nightwalker to keep up in sixth place, with Slappers in seventh, Aussie in eighth, Rugworth in ninth, and Devlin hanging around in 10th. Lurox is just outside of that top 10 there, so he's in 11th. So not the start that we would think Lurox would be having in TS2 in 11th. Robbo Sport hanging around in 12th. Vossi in 13th. AMS Mikhail, he was a surprise as well. He was up there in the top 8. He looks like he's dropped down the order as well. So very unfortunate for Mikhail. And then Xylem 96 rounding up the top 15. Unfortunately, a lap down. Not the race that he had going on there. So is what it is. If anyone had an incident there, they would report it to the stewards straight away, and hopefully get that resolved ready for round 2. But no, we can't take away that battle that we had between Muffin and Brian there. So Brian had that mistake on the exit of the death chicane, and Captain Muffin came through with the odds and took that first place away from him.
Yeah, it's pretty strong there. I know I'd be pretty happy if I was Chase. So. Definitely strong showing there from Captain Muffin, but not only that, Brian as well. To go from TS3 to TS2 at such short time and such short notice, he's got his head around that car. So pretty solid performance there as we go onto the podium here. So we got Captain Muffin also getting a clean race bonus. So very nice work from him there.
Awesome work by Captain Muffin there. So big congrats to him and for taking the victory for race 1 of the TS2 Touring Cars Championship. So well done, big congratulations to him, as well as Isuzu Brian in second, and It's Racing on his return back from America, coming back to Australia only a couple of weeks ago, get himself ready for TS2 racing up on the podium. So big congrats to him as well. So great racing all around, bit of contact, but I think we can say that was a little bit cleaner compared to what we had in our earlier races, DJ.
Yeah, a lot cleaner in that regard there. So that was definitely thankful for that one. Makes our job a little bit easier as stewards, because obviously It's Racing now he's actually racing. So that means that me, you, Adam, and CP will be the stewards for TS2. So until it drops back to TS3 after round 9. So he jumps back to TS3 in round 10, and then we'll have him back as a steward there for TS2. So that'll be a definitely one to look at for the stewards with some of those late incidents there. But at the moment, that was a very good showing there by all those cars.
Yeah, that looked like a very good a very good race. Also, I'm just trying to keep my head around in the split 2 racing. We're a lap 7 of 12. We have John 27, TCT in the Nissan It's Racing Esports in first place with GC12 Curry, and Northy in the Robo Sport Camp in second and third. D-Flow for M&R Racing hanging around in fourth place. Mad Dog for WTCC is in fifth. He's got a battle pack between him, the Bundy Drop Bear, and Warpath 360 for the battle for fifth place. Soul Reaper hanging around in 8th, Branchy 63 in 9th, Rusty inside the top 10 with Shadow GT in 11th, Griffo Tony in 12th, Buzzy 13th, and Isa Benjo hanging around in 14th and last place. So 14 drivers in Split 2 as well, DJ. So 15 for main series and 14 for Split 2. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the fact that we've got so many drivers in round 1, I'll definitely be keen to see what we get by say round 5 or 6. So it's 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 good. It's good to see. Good to see the showing. So ideally, we'd like to have maybe some more drivers and stuff like that. But for round 1, and we've got what essentially 30 drivers. Yeah, that was definitely good showing. But at the moment, um, we now have a grid sorting issue. So bear with us for the moment. We just need to get this grid all sorted out. So until then, just hang tight, go get another drink, go to the bathroom, do what you need to do, and we will be back shortly. Alright, welcome everyone. Sorry, we are back and we have the grid as sorted as we could. Fingers crossed it stays like it. It just took one outlap and staying in order of how they finished. Everyone was very cooperative, so that was very good on everyone's behalf. So looks like we're ready to go in this regard for race 2 of the Trackstars TS2 Championship. No, it didn't work. It didn't work. It did not work. So, I guess we're just going to have to go with the flow. Unfortunately. But as we're about to go live for race 2, the red lights, that's 4, 5. Can Captain Muffin take it off? And lights out, ready for race 2. We have drivers dropping. Nice there from Mikhail, he jumped out of the way. He's going to drop himself back. Someone's spun around the back there. That's Calypso. He's got a bit of damage there. Robbo, engine damage. That's very unfortunate that they don't allow him the grid start. So I guess we're just kind of got to go with the flow and go from there. But we're currently on lap 1 of 12. Rugworth ran right into the back there, and Nightwalker gave him some back area damage and a bit of a pendulum effect on some of those guys. Doesn't give me cinematic cam because this game is great. But as we go here on the middle of lap 1, Spudge is sorting out his drivers. What I thought we had them set, looks like apparently not. So reassess this for main series and then we'll go from there. But at the moment we've got Captain Muffin in first place with Roses not too far behind, and Aussie Hypnotic in third, Lunacy in fourth, Lurox in fifth, It's Racing in sixth, AMS Mikhail in seventh, Fossey in eighth, Brian in ninth, Nightwalker in 10th, Slappers in 11th. There's a massive fight going on here between position 7, 8, 9 and 10. Robbo Sport down in 12th, Zylan in 13th, Calypso in 14th, and Rugworth down there in 15th. What looks to be he had a bit of a bad day in the death chicane. Saying we started in the order. We understand that, mate. We're just trying to see what we can do, but it's a bit unfortunate, but we just kind of got to go with the flow at the moment. It is round 1. We're weaning out the bugs, and we're just going to see how we can kind of assess it for round 2. But as they're finishing, sorry, they're coming around here onto this back straight. We've got Muffin still out in first place. We'll wait to see if we can keep it there, keep that. CP Motorsports blue and black car on the in first place as he executes that death chicane very nicely there. But he's got Bite the Roses absolutely on a charge there, trying to hunt him down. But how's your split 2 lobby on?
Yes, we've got. Unfortunately, Nave told us that theory doesn't work. I'm going to give it a go doing a formation lap, so it'll be a single file rolling start for split 2, and fingers crossed we can get that working. I'm just going to get these guys started underway whilst you call the action for split 2, whilst I get these guys going, and I'll join you in the comm box very shortly.
No worries. So while you're down there on track, I'll be out in the comm box and you can enjoy being in that heat while I'm up here in this aircon. So it's
no worries, I need sun anyway. I need the sun. I'm too white.
How hot is it down there? How hot is it down there on track?
Oh, mate, I mean, my car's got a beach theme to it, and yeah, I definitely, it feels like 40 degrees out here, so it's nice.
It's a comfortable 20 degrees up here in the comm box, so I'll be have your seat warm and ready for you when you decide to venture on back up. But we've got Spud just getting split 2 underway and sorted, so they're kind of cooperating with them, which is very good. So we do appreciate all the drivers cooperating with us, admin, at such short notice and on the fly. Muffin gets really close there to the wall. Oh, he scrapes the wall there, and he cops what would be front aero and left front damage there. So, oh, Rose has done the same thing. So, will this be an opportunity for Aussie to come through and possibly challenge Bite the Roses for second place? As that damage there can definitely be a bit of a one-hit wonder and stuff like that. So it's kind of a bit of a pain because you do lose a considerable amount of top speed with that aero damages. Muffins is washed off now. Roses is off as well, but Aussie's got that gap down to 1.5 seconds, but he's got Lunacy hot on his heels there. So obviously the starting order was a bit unfortunate, but we kind of just got to, as I said, go with the flow, and we'll wait and see what happens for main series. So it's definitely hard kind of doing stuff on the fly and trying to work out what we can do, but we're just trying to think of the best case option at the moment for these guys. So they seem to be getting settled in now on their racing. So we've got Lunacy with the fastest lap too, 27.8 down there in 4th place. So we'll go back through the grid here. We've got Vossi up in 7th. Brian's worked his way through the field, as well as Zylan here. Zylan's in 9th. So I wonder if we can bring that MSR car a little bit further up the field. So that'll definitely be one for the ages. Oh, he gets really loose out of there. That was very scary. We've got Mikhail down here in 10th. Nightwalker in 11th. Slapper's mate all the way down in 12th. He's having a bit of a bad day, but that may also have got to do with the bit of up and down starting grid. So I guess we can only kind of do what we can with what we got. So it kind of is what it is. But Rugworth is looking to be gaining a bit of time here on the field. So I wonder if he's going to be trying to work back with 6, 7, 8 laps. I think I'm very bad at that calculation of laps to go. So, oh, Roses here, he's made a move on Captain Muffin. We just missed that, so it looks like he's pulled that gap down quite considerable, and he's gapped Muffin. Oh, he's got some damage there, so Muffin's gone off and hit the wall or done something, but he gets swamped by Aussie and Lunacy. That's very, very unfortunate there for Muffin, as that damage is now washed off. So we'll wait and see if he can pull through the field. Oh, we've got Aussie, Hypnotic and Lunacy going at it here through the Destricane. You don't want to go through there too wide at all. We've tried it, it doesn't work anytime at all. So, oh, Aussie Hypnotic takes a hard hit on the wall there. Cops engine damage from that as well, so he's definitely going to drop down there. But the question is, how far down is he going to drop? Will he drop down to 7th, 8th? That's definitely the question there, but unfortunately his day's gone from what was good to bad to worse. So it's a bit unfortunate there for Aussie, but he's got Vossi passing him now for 6th. He's dropped to 7th. Brian's gone past him as well. I wonder if Zylan will be able to get a position here out of all this kind of stuff.
Alright, so I think we've got our split 2 guys running underway. Hopefully they got themselves a single file rolling start. Maybe a couple of drivers jumped at the start there, but I guess, well, it is the best we can do. There's not much we can really do about it. It is what it is. We're really trying to figure out what we can do for race 2, especially when it comes to main series coming up very shortly. But we did manage to do a rolling start. Everyone did get into the grid files, which was nice to see. But like I said, I think there are a couple of people that jumped the start there, but that's okay. I guess it is what it is. You can't do much about it. And yeah, I mean, we'll just go with the flow. But John is leading the way ahead of Curry and Swifty in the top 3, Bundy and Budsy in the top 5. But going back to you guys, I've been missing all the action here, so I do apologise. I see Rose is up in the lead there. So what happened to Captain Muffin?
From what I could see, I didn't exactly see it or catch it. He went off at turn 4, got pushed off. I'm not exactly sure, as I said. Cutting off there. Zylan has actually just had a DNF, so that's a bit unfortunate for him. So he was doing pretty solid running up there. Aussie smacked the wall, copped engine damage again. That's 2 laps in a row. So he's gone from what was 2nd all the way down to 11th in 2 laps. So that's very, very unfortunate there, and obviously these guys have no safety cars, so it's just kind of run a sprint race to the end. But it's just gone bad to worse really for Aussie, so that's a bit unfortunate for the WTCC driver. But as we look on the back of his car, that sticker really explains it all. I don't know
That's right.
I don't know if you can see you can see that. Yes, right.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it is what it is. Yes, unfortunately for Aussie, he's had a bit of bad luck there. But yes, you said I did see Silent did have a DNF there, so he did say he did get a bit of a blue screen there. An error popped up on his PlayStation, so that was a bit unlucky for him. But I guess in a way we've kind of got our usual drivers up the front. Roses, Lunacy, Muffin is racing, and Lurox is now up into the top 5, which is great to see. We see Vossi up in 6th place, so that's finally a nice, a good showing there for Vossi to be up in 6th. Maybe that start grid actually managed to help him out a fair bit, a little bit easier, with Brian in 7th and AMS Mikhail in 8th place. So not bad. Obviously our drivers and for us as well, it is a learning experience just to try and see how we can get the grid order sorted for round 2 at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix for the Milano Sprint. So bear with us while we get our second races sorted out and underway. We'll have to wait and see how we go with that, but fingers crossed we can get it all sorted. It is Lunacy ahead of Muffin. Actually, I say Muffin, but Roses has dropped down again. So did he get? Looks like he must have made a mistake at the chicane yet again. But he's got no damage on his car unless it got repaired quickly. But he's now down in the 5th place after leading again, DJ. So that's twice in a row that Roses has gone from the lead and now he's in 5th place.
Yeah, I think what obviously rumour has it, or history has it, that I would say he got kind of a bit of a massive kind of bit of engine damage there, and he's dropped down because obviously the front pack of his field isn't too far spread out, so it's a bit unfortunate, but he's just dropped down there to 5th. So I wonder if he can pull that back there. But this is another surprise. Lurox here, so he's just kind of kept his head down and gone through with it. If Muffin, who's just said his best lap with 27.9, so he's a 10th off of Lunacy, if he's going to be able to get in that slipstream and pull him back into turn 1 and then possibly get him down the back straight.
Yeah, absolutely. So Muffin might be able to catch up to Lunacy, but Lunacy is the Formula 2 champion. He raced main series in the Formula Track Stars as well, so he's got a lot of confidence behind him in the number 19 Project 1 racing team, Lexus RCF. So a bit of confidence goes his way with about 4 laps to go. Lunacy leads the way ahead of Captain Muffin. It's racing in 3rd, Lurox in 4th, Bite the Roses in 5th, Vossi in 6th, Isuzu Brian in 7th. As It's Racing looks like he's had a bit of a moment there, so now Vossi's going to come right up to the back of It's Racing. Will he be able to make a move on the Honda driver there on the inside? No, he doesn't. He actually pulls off. Yes, he does. So he's obviously let Vossi go through because he saw he had a bit of momentum. Oh, he's got damage as well. So that's obviously that's helped his cause for Vossi to move up into 5th there. So very unlucky for It's Racing and hanging up nicely in the third place there. So very unfortunate for It's Racing to be up there. I'll be down there in 6th. Well, as we see Roses again, so that's another one that he's gone, and he's got engine damage as well. So Vossi has gone 2 positions for free there, DJ, and he's gone up from 6th to 4th with no like overtaking and racing. He's just gone there because of mistakes there by the other drivers. But you've got to be there. You've got to be there in the end to win it, I guess, or to be up there in a high position.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's been a long day. It's right place at the right time. That's a good one saying, I think. But Roses has got more damage.
Roses, keep it together, son.
It looks like
my
got
goodness,
a bit more damage there. But It's Racing has got damage as well. So I wonder if It's Racing and Roses came together here. But he's got Nightwalker all and Mikhail as well. So what Roses was essentially fighting for the lead, he's now dropped back to 9th place, 18 seconds off the lead. So, and that's all in a matter of 2 laps. So that's very, very unfortunate. But I wonder if this will be a bit of a placement for main series, just to see kind of what you can and can't do. for this one.
Yeah, it is like a very big learning curve for us, especially. So we need to see what works, what doesn't work. But Brian moves up into 5th place, so he's gone from 8th. And as we see, Nightwalker have a bit of an incident there on the exit of the double right-hander. So not the night that, no pun intended, not the night that Nightwalker had in mind. And he's outside of the top 10 after finishing 7th place in the last race. So it was very good to see Nightwalker up, but now he's just dropped down the order. So very unfortunate for him. As I look towards the split 2, we've still got John in 1st place with Swifty North in 2nd, Curry in 3rd, Budsy hanging on into 4th place, and Soul Reaper in the top 5 there. So I think the theory of the formation lap kind of works, but I feel like there are a few people that may have jumped the start there, so we'll have to keep an eye on that for the post-race stewarding. But like as we said countless times throughout the streams on both series, we do apologise to our drivers this evening. We will put a message out there on the Discord as well. We'll try and figure out a way to get the second races up and running properly and how we want them to be run. Oh, as I see Mad Dog have a bit of a 360, gets tagged by D-Flow, and he goes all the way down the back of the grid. But yeah, I mean, fingers crossed we can get it all sorted out, and obviously try and think of a solution for main series coming up in an hour's time.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to put our thinking caps on pretty quick smart as well. So if any main series drivers are watching this, obviously I did put a message in. We are a little bit delayed in opening that lobby, so I'll open it as soon as we can. But we've got 2 laps to go here in TS2, so they are in their 2nd race, and Lunacy's still out front, and it doesn't look like Muffin can kind of pull that gap back to him at the moment. So we'll definitely wait and see on how this finishes. So I wonder if Lunacy can get a maiden win here in round 1, keeping that track stars from the 2 form in order. But saying that, he's got a bad run, and he's got aero damage too. So
oh no,
commentators first.
So everyone's getting themselves a bit of hard doing there through the chicane there. All the leaders, we had Roses, and now we've had Lunacy, and then we had Brian in the last race. So Lunacy's come back down the back of the field, but he's got the power of the straight line over the Honda NSX, but we'll be able to make a move to the inside. Muffin tries to defend that inside line, but Lunacy's already there. He'll take that lead, but will Captain Muffin hold around the outside? He does, and they're going side by side on the exit of the chicane. And Muffin still takes 1st place ahead of Lunacy. He'll have to tuck back in front of Lunacy, and Lunacy will have to tuck right behind, coming into the double right-hander. He'll come out on top of this. It is so far Captain Muffin in the Honda NSX for CP Motorsports versus Project One's Racing Lunacy in 2nd place. Lurox has moved himself up into 3rd place with Vossi in 4th and Brian in 5th, but we've got to keep our eyes on the front 2 runners, Captain Muffin versus Lunacy, on the final lap here for TS2 for round 1 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Cars Championship. Captain Muffin leads the way ahead of Lunacy, coming down the downhill section onto the last section for the final time. Captain Muffin's got himself a bit of an advantage there. He's got 0.4 over him, 0.3. So Lunacy has to get a really good run through the chicane here, otherwise the win will go back to back for Captain Muffin at the end of this race here. So we'll fingers crossed, we'll see what happens here. Captain Muffin looks like he's got himself a good run. Lunacy had a good run himself as well, but I don't think that's enough, DJ. I think Captain Muffin's going to come through onto the final corner ahead and taking the victory this evening. Lunacy doesn't make a move. He gets close, but not close enough. So that is it. We have our winner. We have Captain Muffin for the 2nd time in a row. A double clean sweep for TS3 and TS2. But the winner goes to Captain Muffin for CP Motorsports. Takes the victory ahead of Lunacy. Lurox 22 takes 3rd place. A great showing by Lurox. Vossi hangs on into 4th place. So a very nice solid performance there by Vossi after that horror start in race 1. Isuzu Brian hangs on into 5th place. It's racing after that front aero damage, goes from 3rd to 6th place. Not what he wanted to have. AMS Mikhail in 7th place with Slapper's mate hanging on into 8th place just behind Mikhail.
Yeah, that's a definitely solid race there, but we got Robbo coming through in 9th place, so a couple of increased positions there for Robbo, which is good. So and then we got Roses here in 10th, Aussie in 11th, DRE Calypso in 12th for iStar Racing, and we got Nightwalker coming through, and Rugworth rounding out the 14 drivers for Trackstars TS2. But a big congratulations there to Captain Muffin getting that clean sweep. So, Woodsy, another trap card. Off you go, mate. See your team, mate.
Two trap cards for him already, so yeah, very unlucky. Yeah, as we digest throughout this whole series TS3 and TS2, as we said, we will send an apology messages to our drivers. But it is what it is. You can't do much about it. But we can say our winners tonight in TS3 belonged to Rick Reed for Triple R Motorsport, and now for TS2 belongs to Captain Muffin 88 for CP Motorsports, sponsored by Elite Braking Mechanical, the main backing of the number 88. So big congratulations to him and to the team back at CP. Will they be able to repeat that in the main series coming up in over an hour's time? We'll have to wait and see, DJ. But it's going to be spicy. If we thought TS3 and TS2 was spicy, I can only imagine that the main series, will be even spicier with the bigger wings and the higher horsepower engines.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a one to watch, I think. But that'll also be streamed live here on the YouTube. Here we do have, I believe, the It's Racing back in the combox. So I think he's going to be taking over lead commentary. So I think he may be by himself. I can't exactly remember. So if there's anyone out there that does want to do commentary, or thinks that they might be able to give it a crack, or give him a bit of a hand in the combox, you know, take one of our 2 seats, you know, because I'm no commentator myself, but you know, I do my job. I try and do what I can. But yeah, we will be happy to have anyone alongside. It's in the combox. So anyone out there, chuck us a message and let us know.
Absolutely right. So big congratulations to our winners this evening and our podium contenders. So it's great to see our drivers coming in, sticking up, sticking through it all. Obviously, having these issues. As I look over to Split 2 now, we've still got John leading the way, so he's going to probably take a double victory. But he's got himself company with Swifty North, as we saw, was the fastest pre-qualifier. But unfortunately for him, he got himself a regulation failure. Unfortunately for him, installing the bigger rear wing on his Nissan GTR, which got him disqualified from pre-qualifying, and that dropped him all the way down to Split 2. And for Swifty North, he's hanging on there. He's catching up to John, I will say, DJ. So if John loses out to Swifty, I mean, we're gonna be roasting him in the chat for sure.
Yeah, mate. If John doesn't do that, but the other thing is, John's in the Nissan as well too. So he's not. He's in the Nissan. He's not in the Honda. So hopefully we can see John get that win there. But on that note, obviously we are gonna cut the stream short before Split 2 finishes. But I do need to open up main lobby. So it was a very trial and error round 1 here for the TS2 and TS3 series.
Yeah, absolutely, and we will try and figure it out as quickly as we can, so we can get the race 2, or round 2 rather, sorted out by the end of the week. So fingers crossed you guys can stick around, help and stay tuned and support us through the coverage as we get ourselves sorted out for those series. But until then, until we get to round 2, stay tuned for the main series coming up very shortly. But for us, the TS2 boys,